Hello, this is RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Hey guys, today I am bringing you everything you need to know about the LG G6, including release date, price point, all the specs, including the 3 different versions of this device, because depending on where you live, you will get a slightly different version of this device. Now, all that being said, I will show you... Oh, that's right. Hashtag I didn't get it, the phone. Hashtag what the FLG. Hopefully we'll be getting in the studio those soon, as I am supposedly on the media list to receive this phone from LG, so we will have our review, hidden features, and all those great videos. Make sure to follow us and subscribe for those. Alright, now let's get to the everything you need to know about this device section. So with this phone, you first and foremost are getting 3 different colors, and I'm calling them by their real names instead of by, the fancy media names, and that is a silver blue, a black, and a white with a rose gold or pink trim. So these are really good looking phones. I must admit, the white with the pink trim is a really nice touch for that type of style. It's not particularly my kind of style, but I really do like it, and I like that the front of these phones matches the back of the phone. So if you do have the silver blue on the back, you also have that around the bezel on the front, which I like. I like one unifying color choice, something that we don't see from every smartphone manufacturer, so I do appreciate that LG all around. Now let's get to some of the cues on this phone. With this phone, you have a glass backing. Apparently it's a textured glass backing, and it's better than last year's kind of like metal that shaved off and felt like plastic. This one just feels like it has a bit more of a grip than other glass phones out there. It does have a different type of display as well, having the vision screen, or a 18:9 ratio, or a 2:1 ratio, depending on what you want to call it exactly. What does this mean? Well, it means that it is a 2K display with HDR10 and Dolby Vision compatibility, which allows you to watch HDR content. However, there's not much HDR content, but the LG did already say that both Amazon and Netflix are releasing HDR on their app versions of the phones later this year to be compatible with this phone. So again, it's getting ahead of it. Just like, Xbox and PlayStation 1 right now are having HDR. Not much HDR content out there, but again, it's for future-proofing the device, and that's what this phone is giving you. You also have different cameras on this one. So before in the last LG phone, you had a 13 megapixel regular camera and an 8 megapixel wide camera. Both cameras are 13 megapixels now. However, you have a f1.8 with the normal. The lower the f-stop, the better it is at low light, so that is the better version for low light photography, the regular camera. The wide angle is a 2.4 aperture, which isn't the best for low light, but it still will give you those really nice wide shots as long as you're well lit. You also have this really cool thing called square cam that they added onto it. It really adds a good feature. I myself, whenever I take photos, like to take a photo and then I have it review come up, meaning that I can see if the photo came out good or not, so if I have to take it again. It's what I've done since, SLR days and even point and shoot camera days. So I like to keep that going. With this phone, you have that essentially your top square takes the live photo, and then you get to see your review on the bottom for the square camera. Now, you also can do different things like making 4 different panels and other things like that, which we've seen before. Basically, square camera is really geared towards Instagram, and that is what you need to know about it. That being said, you also have IP68. Now, we got teased about this a while ago, so we knew this was coming for LG, but it is official now. You do have IP68 water resistant on this phone, which means technically an hour at 5 feet. However, manufacturers have changed this in the past. It looks like to advertise yourself as IP68, all you have to do is half an hour at 5 feet, but the technical rating is an hour for 5 feet, so we'll have to wait and see what LG says it can do. But main point is you don't have to worry if it gets splashed or gets drenched even in the rain. I've always loved that about the Samsung phone I had before, and even Sony smartphones in the past. When you have water-resistant phones, it's just a nice feeling to have. You also have a headphone jack. Now, although this is not something, a wow factor, this is something that was rumored to be taken away, so it is really good to see this here. You do have a headphone jack on this device. By the way, one thing that was taken away is, of course, a removable battery. But in lieu of that, you have two things. One, you have a Type-C charger, so a much faster charge, Qualcomm 3.0 quick charge on this. So again, about 20 minutes gives you half the charge, or 25 minutes gives you half the charge. So really quick charging capabilities on here. One bottom firing speaker on the bottom, so you have that. Well, I'll get to the DAC in a second because that is one of the different versions. But also, the biggest thing that LG could have put on this phone that I am in love with, because now I can easily make it my daily driver, and that is wireless charging. Thank God. And this is why, again, you will see a not only glass LG phone this year, as I told you guys you would see for a couple weeks now, but is why you will also see the iPhone X variant also be glass so that it can do wireless charging. The iPhone 7s and 7s Plus will still be metal phones, but the higher end one, the iPhone X, will be glass backing. Again, that video is coming soon on everything coming for the iPhone X and the Galaxy X later this year. With this one though, love the fact that it has wireless charging. It really is a great feature and one that I love. Again, you can charge it safely overnight without damaging your battery, and it's just really convenient. I have never needed to change any plugs on my Type-C or micro USB phones that have wireless charging, because guess what? I just drop it down the charger and it charges. Really great, very convenient. I love that this phone will have this feature. That being said, it comes with a 3,300 milliamp battery, so a really good battery size that we're getting on this phone overall for that purpose. Now, what do you need to know about it? Well, I said earlier there are 3 different versions of this phone depending on where you live. So here we go. The Korean market phone is going to have a high-res DAC, meaning that when you plug in a headphone cable into the headphone jack, you will get way superior sound compared to regular. Now, LG did not see this necessary for every market, and quite frankly, I don't plug in my headphones. I use Bluetooth for all my headphone needs. Very rarely do I plug in headphones, and when I do, I don't care of high quality sound. I'm more doing it because my Bluetooth headphones died. However, the European version is going to have a 64 gig version. In some markets in Europe, you are going to get the 64 gig variant, whereas every other country is going to get the 32 gig model. This is a little bit of a problem for me because I like the idea of having 64 gigs internal storage, and if we can believe the recent spec leak that we went over 2 days ago on the S8, that is going to have 64 gigs built in, so I think that's a miss for LG. Overall though, 32 gigs is good, and you have expandable memory. The US variant, that's the third variant of this phone, will not have the DAC, will not have the 64 gigs, it will have 32 gigs with a standard DAC, but it is going to be the one that has the wireless charging. So that is really good overall for it, so you have the wireless charging. Honestly, between the 3, if I had to choose between the 3, I'm glad I'm getting the US variant, because wireless charging to me is more important than internal storage or than the higher end DAC. However, I feel that most consumers might feel differently and would rather have the double storage over the wireless charging. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Which of these 3 phones would you rather have, or would you rather be selfish and have the combination of all 3? That being said, we also know, of course, of its release date. And the release date is going to be March 10th in the Korean market and some other countries. However, for the US over here, it's going to wait all the way a full month almost from that, and that is April 7th will be the release date for the LG G6 in the US. We already have confirmation that all 4 carriers will carry it. Sprint, Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile are all going to carry it. The only thing we don't know is price point. Price point right now has not been announced by LG. However, they are estimating it to be around $600 to $700. My guess is it'll be that sweet spot of $649, depending on your carrier, because some carriers do charge more. Once a manufacturer sells into a carrier, the carrier then chooses how much that's going to be. So they will get to decide if it's $649, $679, $689, $699, $609, whatever they choose is up to them. LG will just have a suggested retail price, and then carriers will go from there. Alright guys, that is a lot of the main stuff. Now there are things that I want to touch on just because of the fact that we have a lot of mixed things coming from different people covering the event. I had even a person say that it was a 16 megapixel camera that has the phone. Now, I'm not sure if he got a different version or he just misquoted himself when recording the video, but that is one thing that just to look out for. This is a dual 13 megapixel camera. Because multiple sources have said this, I'm aligning with that. The other thing is we've had sources, including conflicting ones from even like GSM arena and phone arena and other different markets that are saying what screen this is. We know it's a 2K display, 2560 by 1440p, but what we don't know is it IPS or is it OLED? All accounts are more pointing towards IPS. However, LG's own websites on their global, on UK and US do not state what it is. So LG has not given an official word on that yet. I am of course not there to verify what kind it is, but that is another thing that I'm curious about. There are some really cool looking new features to this phone, so we're definitely going to have a good 10 hidden features video coming up for this. All in all, I am really impressed. LG did impress me, as you guys have seen throughout the weeks we've been covering the S8 and other devices on the market, but this one really did impress me. I am very curious to see how it is going to be. In the hand, it looks great. It looks a lot better than the pictures did. Again, what I said from the beginning was I think it'll look a lot better with the screen on. Almost every image we had was with the screen off. So with this overall, I think it's going to be a good looking phone with a good looking quality. Can it be a major contender? That is what I'm waiting to see. The photo quality of it though, from what I've seen in the sample pictures, looks good from third-party sources. So I cannot wait to get this in the studio and review it for you guys and show you all of its hidden features. Thank you guys so much as always for watching. Make sure you give a like, thumbs up down below. This has been RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy.